Namaste, Didis. My name is Sherry Sutton, and I am your marketing mentor and business growth strategist. So, have you ever thought about getting a mentor? And what the heck do they do anyway, right? Why do I need one? Do I need one? What do they do? And I'm just going to talk about this today from my perspective, right? As a mentor. Not all mentors are created alike, but this is kind of the way that I do it. And so if you're needing some help in your business, a mentor is often a great thing to have. And I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. Again, might be good for you, might not be. And again, all coaches, mentors, strategy guides, whatever we want to call ourselves, we all do it a little bit differently. And again, this is sort of my take on it and sort of the way that I do things. So I thought I'd share. All right. So I'm going to add, all right, what does a business growth mentor do? And do you need one? So does anybody here feel like running a business is super lonely? Yeah, it's super, super lonely. And you don't realize that when you start a business, right? Especially if you've come from the corporate world where there's kind of, you have a boss, right? I mean, just having a boss alone creates a whole different dynamic of accountability and responsibility to somebody else, right? But when you're on your own, it can be incredibly, incredibly lonely. And I know that all my entrepreneurs out there totally understand this. And also, running a business is 100% the responsibility of you to make all of the decisions. And this isn't just true as a solopreneur. I mean, even if you are big enough to have other people helping you, even then, frequently the founder, whoever that is, feels completely responsible for making all of the decisions. And that has a really often a negative impact on us. And we also really get decision fatigue. I don't know how many of you guys out there feel this way, but we have so many decisions that we have to make in a day. The idea that we have to make all of them. And, we often got into this thing because we're really good at one specific thing or we want to change people's lives in another way. But now we're like having to make decisions for all these other things that we know nothing about, right? Like, I'll give you an example. One of my clients the other day, she got this tax bill and she was like, I don't know what this is about. It was something, related to her business. And she was like, she happens to be creative. And she's like, I'm a creative. Like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Right. But as the owner, like, she's the one who has to figure it out. So, I mean, ultimately, she hired somebody who was going to go figure it out for her. But I feel the same way all the time, right? I'm terrible with accounting and all of those types of things. I have to hire somebody to help me, right? Because if I'm left to making all of the decisions by myself, I'm going to go crazy. Right. And that's something that so many of us entrepreneurs feel. And especially when it's not only our egos on the line, right? Because we're the ones who are standing up and saying, hey, I want to run this business. We've often spent a lot of the money in our, from our personal lives, right? It often impacts other people in our lives. And the idea of making a bad decision is so scary that often we get stuck in analysis paralysis and we end up not being able to make any decisions. And I see this as one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs right now is just overwhelmed with having to make so many decisions, feeling like they have to make all those decisions by themselves, and feeling that the stakes are so high with everything single decision that they just get paralyzed. And I get it. I have felt that way, and I see that with my clients all the time. So you are not alone, I promise. And running a business will bring out every single demon, insecurity, and crazy that you have ever had in your life, right? Anybody who's an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur who is the face of their brand, is going to tell you that being an entrepreneur and putting yourself out there will bring out every single demon that you have, right? Every single, I'm not good enough. Oh my God, look at her. She's so much better than me. Oh my God, why should people listen to me? All of that imposter syndrome, all of the stuff is gonna come out. And so having somebody that you can work with to kind of work through that is so valuable. So what does a mentor do? A mentor walks alongside you while you make the big decisions, and sometimes the little ones. what I find, and for me in my business and for my clients, is sometimes things that are little decisions, because we have decision fatigue and because we see or we feel that every decision is going to be, make a monumental impact on our business, that sometimes we don't realize which are the big decisions and which are the little decisions. And so having somebody to bounce that off of and say, I'm stuck on this decision and I don't really know why, we can help you kind of see it. You can't often see the label from inside the bottle, right? So we can kind of help you see and make those decisions and walk alongside you, right? And just be a sounding board and be an objective third party to say, hey, how do we make these decisions? Or do we need to make this decision? Or is this really not a big decision we need to make right now? Or should we be looking at this another way? That is incredibly, incredibly valuable. Again, if you're an entrepreneur, like all of us, who has decision overwhelm. A mentor also walks alongside you in tough times and reminds you that you're like a badass who's out there changing lives. And how many of us I need cheerleaders in my life pretty regularly, right? Again, this thing is lonely and it's scary and, we feel overwhelmed. And sometimes you just need somebody to say, you're doing a great job, who really understands your business, right? I find sometimes, like, it's great when a friend is like, or your spouse, they're like, good job, honey. And you're like, thanks. But they don't really understand your business, right? They're not in there walking alongside you. And there's something really powerful to having the person who's walking alongside you be able to say, hey, this sucks, right? Let's take a second and remember, you're a badass. You're doing this for a reason and you're going to change lives. And then a mentor is going to help you not only do that, which is something that, again, your friends can do for you, but is going to help you put together a concrete, actionable, easy to follow plan that will meet your goals. You are always constantly going to be needing to shift and change your business over time, right? Change is the only constant in the world. So having somebody who you can say, like, this challenge is coming up. I don't quite know how to deal with it. This isn't selling. And I'm going to go through some examples here in a minute. This isn't selling, or I don't have enough visibility with this audience that I really want to attract, or, my social media content isn't doing well, whatever it might be. We can say, okay, yes, you have this challenge. Let's go back to our purpose, right? Why are you doing this? Remember, you're a badass and you're really good at what you do. And now let's find an actionable way to get you to the goals that you want. And I find that this is a challenging thing to find in a mentor, is somebody who can do kind of that mindset side of things, right? Help you to get over whatever fears are holding you back, but can also, has been there, done that, and can also help you to create that actionable plan, right? So you really want somebody who has done the mindset work, has been an entrepreneur, who understands how challenging it can be, and somebody who can help lift you up out of that, right? That they have what you want, right? You can say to them and they can talk to you in a way that you're going to be able to hear. Because I've had mentors, frankly, who've probably said very good things to me, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get over my whatever was coming up, my blockage to really be able to hear what they were saying, sometimes until later. And so it's really good to make sure you have a mentor that you feel really safe with, that you can come to and say, all my ugly showing today, or all of my business challenges are coming out, and you're willing to say, like, this isn't working, help me figure out how to fix it, right? Or I want to do this and I don't want to screw it up. Can you help me make sure that the actionable plan that I'm putting together is going to be valid? So finding somebody who can both support you through that mindset work, right? But can also, who's been there, done that, run their own business, created their own, whether it's marketing plans or financial plans or operational plans, whatever part of your business that you're struggling with, make sure that they've been there, done that, and worked that out with many, many, many companies to good results. And sometimes, frankly, we have crappy results, and you learn often more from the times where you fail than when you don't. And I can share tons of examples of that from my career. sometimes, not necessarily my fault, but it happens, right? We learn from our successes. So finding somebody who's a been there, done that person is incredibly, incredibly valuable. So here's kind of a list of why people hire me, right? And I'm going to go through a couple examples here in a minute, but I wanted to give you a few examples. So they have an offer that's not selling. They're ready to launch a new offer and want to create an optimal plan. So they want the lowest investment with the highest return. I would say 75%, if not higher, 75% of my clients have hired an agency and spent a lot of money doing whatever, social ads, PR, whatever, and it didn't work. And they don't want to go through that again. So they want to make sure that whatever money they are spending is completely optimized, highly strategic, so that they don't have to spend any money or any time that they don't have to. So that's another reason why people hire me. Often people call me because they struggle with consistency and staying focused on one idea. And they often feel bad about it. So I have a lot of entrepreneurs. One of my clients the other day called me the ADHD creative entrepreneur wrangler, right? Which I think is great. So helping you, if you've got 1,000 tabs open all the time and all this creative ideas and all this creative energy, God, that's amazing. But having somebody help you to bottle it and sell it, right, in a way that really makes sense, and help you to focus down on what's going to bring you the biggest bang for the buck, right? Both in actual bucks and actual dollars, and in time, right? So having somebody who can help you to really narrow that down and then stay with you and keep you accountable for that consistency. One of the other things is they don't want to spend time and money on marketing that doesn't work. I talked about that a minute ago. I have a lot of clients who've been burned in the past by hiring agencies or doing things that just didn't work, and they spent a lot of time and money. Again, we learn from those, from those things, and we learn from those failures. But finding somebody who's kind of been there, done that, can say, oh, I've done that before, and here's what happened. Or I did that in a similar situation, here's what happened. Or I have another client who's going through that, and here's the success they're seeing. And so let's try to do something similar, because your audiences are similar. Being able to bounce that off somebody who really understands, your market and exactly what you're trying to do. They know they can't see the label from inside the bottle and want someone that's going to help them to see what they can't. And that's an incredibly important part of your business. I yesterday in a mastermind, I was in the hot seat. So this is not the mastermind that I run. It's a mastermind that I'm participating in. And I was in the hot seat. And so I was the one who got to say, okay, I know I can't see the label from inside the bottle. And so here's what I wanted to kind of check on my messaging, right? Here's some of the messaging that I'm putting out in the world. What do you guys think? Here's who I'm targeting. Can you give me some feedback on these processes, the way that I'm showing up? And having other people be able to reflect that back to me significantly changed the way that I'm going to start marketing myself, including the way that I created this presentation today. The other thing that they do is, they want to do things that work and not just things that they're supposed to do because they think they're going to work, right? I'll give you a great example. The biggest one is social media. Everyone thinks, oh my God, I have to do better on social media. And I'm like, well, why, right? Is social media really the place where you're going to grow your business? Because sometimes it's not. And if you guys have listened to me for a while, you'll know that I talk about an oral surgeon. So an oral surgeon is someone that you don't just go to, just hey, I need an oral surgeon, right? Or I had a deviated septum fixed recently, right? And I don't just go to a specialist, right? I had to go to my primary care physician first, and they said, go to a specialist. And so what did I do when my primary care physician said, you need a specialist? I didn't Google it, right? I'm not just going to Google random people, right? I did go to my insurance. So that's important. I'm not going to go to social media. I mean, I might ask people in my group, hey, do you know anybody who's good? But probably what I'm going to do is ask my doctor who they recommend. And so it's the same with an oral surgeon, right? You go to the dentist, they say you need a root canal, you have to go to an oral surgeon. Generally, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say, well, who do you recommend? So if I were consulting for an oral surgeon and the oral surgeon came to me and said, "Oh my God, my social media is not doing anything. Like I don't understand why I need better content. I need better consistency." I would actually, we follow the money, right? Part of this process is we follow the money and we say, okay, well, where is your money coming from? If 99% of your business comes from referrals, let's lean in on those referrals. And maybe they aren't on social media. Or if they are, that's only going to be a small part of the way you can work with them or get in front of them, right? How can we be more visible to those people? I would actually recommend that, let's say they had $1,000 a month. I would recommend they send presents to every single dentist in the area every single month. I wouldn't do social media. I wouldn't do ads. I would do, banquets at the National Dentists Association or whatever. But this is where having somebody who can kind of walk you through that process of like, where is your money coming from and where are your leads coming from? And then how do we either add on a different revenue stream in another area where leads are coming in, or how do we create how do we get the most visible with the clientele that's coming right now, right? Have we, and I love saying this, have we squeezed all the juice out of this lemon? Because often we haven't. So to add on a whole other initiative like doing social media might not do anything for you, but everyone thinks they need to do it. And again, this is a very specific example, but it's a great example of frequently we have assumptions about how we should be running our business, or we see other people running their business in a certain way and it might not work for us. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about like how it works. So the first stage of the process is strategic planning. We generally do this over the course of the first month, and we do a couple things there. We audit your business. So we'll do a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats? What's happening in your business right now? Then we'll do what I call rooting, which is like, why are you doing this thing? Because if you're not finding joy and you're not making a difference in people's lives, you're generally going to hate your business pretty quickly, right? So what are your superpowers? Why are you really doing this? And I call that the rooting portion. Then we define who you serve in your business, right? Who is your target audience? Where are they now? Where do they want to be? What messages are going to work the best for them? What products are going to work best for them? Where do you need to offer your products in a way that is going to be the most beneficial for them? From there, we move into execution mode, and then you have execution support. And that has a couple different, different pieces to it. So sometimes it's training of you or your team. Sometimes it's just cheerleading, right? Cheerleading, mindset work, like let's talk through exactly what's going on, what things are being brought up for you. One of the biggest things that I do for my clients is prioritization management, right? How are you spending your time, and are you spending your time in the most optimal way? How are you spending your dollars? Are you spending your dollars in the most optimal way? And this is where the biggest change happens among most of my clients. The other component is vendor management, right? I have a whole collective of people who are part of, my tribe that I can refer to you. I'm happy to help manage those. Let's say we decide that you need better search engine optimization. I can help find you a vendor and then manage them through that process. Then we check and say, okay, after a little bit, how's it going? What's working? What's not working, right? Because even if we have assumptions on how things might work, and they're based on great experience, right? Something might not work, right? Why isn't it working? What's going on? So we continue to audit the business. We continue to look at the metrics. And then based on what we're learning, we go back to strategic planning. And this process continues over and over and over and over again throughout the life of your coaching program. And frankly, throughout the life of your business. I talked a little bit about the collective. One of the unique things about me as a mentor is I have a collective of people who do all of the things. So I'll help you put together the strategy, help you make sure you're optimizing your time, help making sure that, we're getting through any mindset blocks. But if you have people who need to do the things, some things we can do together, right? Some things I have a copywriter on my team. I'm a photographer and a videographer. So sometimes you can come and we can do some of that together, like co-create some content. content. Sometimes we just need somebody who is a specialist, who really understands that market. I'll use SEO as an example. I know enough to be dangerous with SEO, but I'm not a real expert, right? If you really need to do SEO, we're going to hire a professional. I'll help manage them. We're going to make sure that we make whatever changes we need to make sure that your business is completely optimized for search engine optimization. So that's a great example of when we would use the collective. Okay, a couple case studies. I'm going to share 3 of them with you. So the first case study, I'm not sharing anybody's names. Frankly, I wasn't able to get everybody's approval yet, so I'm just kind of doing generic thoughts. But I want to give you guys some case studies, and I promise if you are interested in learning more case studies, I'm happy to sit down with you and kind of walk you through some more. This is something that I'm working through in my business. Is something that I need to do more for my marketing. I mentioned yesterday that I was a part of a mastermind and I got some feedback. And this was the feedback that I got, right? You need to do more case studies. You need to talk about, how people are working with you to make it really concrete on how that works. And because I'm teachable and because I was willing to ask my mentors, what am I not seeing? I'm doing something just like this. So it's a good example of how I practice the principles that I also teach you guys. Okay. So the first client I'm going to talk, they came to me and said, I've created this incredible course and the course is incredible. I've created this incredible course and it's not selling. So what we did was a couple things. We audited the course itself. It's amazing. It's great. We did an audience evaluation. Does the product meet a specific need that the clients know they have and are willing to pay for it? There are a lot of products that they don't meet this criteria. Some people need, as a coach or as a professional in your field, you will often say, my clients need this, or they wouldn't be in this situation, right? They wouldn't be in pain. And so let me put together a course to tell them how to do that. But they're not ready to hear that yet, right? They need to understand, they need some conversations before they're willing to make that change and are willing to give you their time and their money. So really understanding where your clients right now, and are you too far? Is your product line too far ahead of where they are and they're ready? And that's exactly kind of what was happening with one of the things that was happening with this. The other thing is we really evaluated their current sales partners and their motivations because they weren't selling. So why are they not selling? What's going on there? And then we developed a list of adjustments to help increase sales. So what were some of the results? What happened? So we reached out to a new set of partners who were incentivized to sell or who were, didn't want to sell. One of the things we found was the partners we were working with, they didn't want to take on like the actual sales process. They loved the course. They really wanted to pass it on to their customers, but they didn't want to deal with the sales process. And so we said, okay, great. Pass the leads on to us and we'll take care of them, right? So changing a little change in the sales process made a huge difference in the amount that that ends up being sold. We got the course in the hands of, we created a more robust coaching offer around the course, where the course is a key component of it, but it also comes with some one-on-one because we felt like the clients, the type of content really needed a personal touch and wasn't something you could only deliver in a course. And so we added on this one-on-one coaching component, and it made a huge difference in the level of interest. And the most important thing was the course got in the hands of the people who need it the most, and it was able to change some lives. So how did we do this? What was their investment in working together? So we're meeting, currently we're in month 2, maybe 3 of a weekly group or a weekly coaching program. Sorry, not a group coaching program, a one-on-one program with me. So we meet every week for 90 minutes. From there, after 3 months, we're probably going to go to every other week. I don't think we're going to need to talk as often as we are now, but that first 3 months, generally, you're going to want to meet every single week to really kind of analyze, then take that out to the marketplace, see what's working, see what's not, check the metrics, right? Really adjust accordingly. And then sometimes we'll go into like a 3-month maintenance mode. And then sometimes we'll come back to every week, right? And say, okay, we want to go through and do another another round, right, of really diving into the strategy. All right, case study number 2 was, this is a business coach. She had a history of her referral-based business, so that's how her entire business had grown, but she was starting to get concerned that she wasn't being visible enough to those folks, right? With more and more people on social media, she wasn't really doing a lot there. She wasn't going to a lot of things with COVID, and so was starting to get very concerned about the level of visibility and was worried that it was going to start impacting her business. So hired me to help work with her to help figure out how does she gain more visibility. So we identified a few things: who her upstream referral partners are, what are their motivators for referring her, and where do they hang out, right? Where can we get in front of these people? Is it social media? Is it a newsletter? Is it speaking at conferences? Is it, what is that, right? So we identified who those people were. We identified where they hang out. We identified the key messages that are important to them. And then we worked through, we created an actionable plan for exactly how she was going to get in front of those folks. So it was going to try and speak at these conferences or in these groups, or I'm going to go to this many meetings. I'm going to, this many networking things. I'm going to meet with this many people every week. I'm going to follow up on social media with this many people. I'm going to have coffee connects with this many people. Having a very actionable plan, as well as I'm going to post on social media this many times a week. I'm going to create a newsletter and those types of things. So a very actionable plan for exactly how she was going to increase her visibility. The other thing we did is we've spent a lot of time working through any mindset blocks that come up, right? And I said this, being the face of your business will bring up all your demons. And for everyone, right? Not just this client, all of them, right? And so, what's coming up? Why do you feel weird? Are you not comfortable doing video? If you're not comfortable doing video, what can we do that's going to be comfortable, that's going to feel good? Because we want you to feel good in your business. We want you to have joy. So working through some of what's coming up for you and saying, we can get past this, right? Or we can't, and let's adjust accordingly so that we're not putting you in a situation where you are doing a bunch of marketing stuff that you hate and you're not going to do after a month or two, right? So the results, she has really increased her confidence in showing up online and in person at a lot of these events. Her referral sources are starting to say, hey, oh my gosh, I've been seeing you on social media. I saw you in this thing, at this event. Oh my gosh, I have this client for you. And she's starting to really see the level of communication with her referrers go up significantly. And business is going great. So, I've worked with this person. I think we're in our 9th month. And so I think we've only worked together every other week throughout maybe that first month. I'm sorry, I'll go back and look if anybody's interested. That first month, I think we worked together every week for a while, just to get the plan going. And then we met every other week for, it was at least 3 months, if not longer. And now we're doing once a month. And we might go back to every other week at some point, but it seems to be once a month seems to be enough. Okay, case study number 3. So the owner of this business was burnt out. Actually, I have 2 clients where this is exactly pretty much the same story. Completely burned out, frustrated, feeling undervalued, and ready to quit their business. It was like, this is my last ditch effort. It's kind of like before I file for divorce, we're going to go to therapy one more time. And then for a lot of people, and one of these clients calls me their business therapist, right? I think they both do, actually. Like, you are my business therapist, right? You're somebody you're a safe space where I can come to you and say, here's all the ickiness I'm feeling in my business, but it's also going to create a real actionable plan to get out of that. So what did we do? So we identified what are some of the underlying kind of mindset, I call them mindset blocks, emotional blocks, that were really making them miserable, right? What were they doing that was making them miserable, right? And in this case, it was, there was one specific activity they were doing, one specific kind of group that they were in that was really just icky. We created a plan, therefore, to then stop doing those things, which causes a lot of fear, right? Especially when you stop doing things or outsourcing some of those things. And then what are we going to do? What other things are we going to do now that you have the energy and the time not doing these things that aren't serving you. They even if not serving the business, not serving you emotionally, but now what are we going to do to really drive business in a way that brings more joy? And so we identified actually a bunch of new products that they could offer that would fill what I call their love cup, right? That they loved doing, and that would also at the same time grow their business. So the results, this one of my, they both of my clients, excuse me, I need a little drink. Both of these clients have fallen back in love with their businesses. Their level of creativity is blossoming. They're showing up online in a way they never have before. They're showing up for their customers in a way they've never have before. It's, I'm so incredibly proud when I see people, just really re-engaging with their business. So they've got a new energy, which has, in one case, one of my clients, they've started showing up in a very different way. And people are mentioning to them on a daily basis, right? Pretty much daily basis. Like, hey, wow, you're showing up in a whole new way and you got totally re-energized. And like, what happened to you? Like, what happy pill are you taking? And they're like, nothing. I'm just meeting with Sherry. I was able to reinvigorate, my love of the business. So this, that same client landed a massive PR opportunity recently. And, that Love Cup project that we added onto her plate has taken off and is not only bringing her money and lots of joy, but is helping her clients to bring in significant amounts of money. It's a kind of a coaching program. And I'm seeing this with one of my other clients as well. So investment, both of these clients are doing weekly 90-minute meetings for 3 months. And we're in the middle of that right now. And then we'll do probably bi-weekly for an additional 3 months, maybe then monthly. We'll kind of see. For a lot of my local clients here in the DFW area, they really like working with me to co-create some content. I've got this incredible studio behind me. Apologies for the boxes. I just had a delivery come right before this. But I have this, amazing content co-creation studio. Often if they're a personal brand, will want to have a lot of photos. And so I just kind of help with some of that as well. So some people keep me on for every week, and about half of that becomes content co-creation after we get through the strategy piece. So I hope that this was helpful for you to understand a little bit about what a marketing or mentor does for you, whether it's marketing, business, finance, operations, what they can do for you, at least from my perspective. If you're interested in doing this and working with me one-on-one, head over to my website. I've got a lot of information on there, or just give me a holler. I do free 45-minute consultations. If you click on Let's Chat, you could set up a 45-minute consultation and we'll just talk through your business, where you're at, what's going on, how we could maybe work together. And I'd love to meet you and get to learn a little bit more about your business. If you're not quite ready for one-on-one, I do have an incredible mastermind. Our second version starts in September. It was a longer version this last time. We're actually I compressed it down into 8 weeks because sometimes it was 4 months. Right now it's a little bit too long for folks. So we're doing it in 8 weeks. It's incredible. Tons of freebies. I offer a money back guarantee. So I think you guys will really love it. Again, head over to the website to learn a little bit more about that. And if you've got a strategy, you're feeling pretty solid, but you hate creating content by yourself, you can come on over here to my studio. I'm in downtown McKinney, Texas, right in the square, and we can just hang out and create content together, whether it's a seminar or a podcast or a reel or taking photos. It's really, really great to be able to come and just do this with somebody, right? Somebody who knows you, knows your business, can cheerlead you along the way. I have been a public relations teacher for a long time, a couple decades, as well as a professional actress. So I can kind of talk you through how to speak to people in a way that they understand, right? Or just cheerlead you along the way. And also, it feels weird to sit in your house by yourself with your phone and make content. I don't know. So if you ever want to come and do it with me, I'm here. Thank you, Michelle wrote. Oh, that's so sweet. I don't know if you guys can see this, but somebody wrote in the comments, we love Sherry. Michelle, I'm going to use you as a case study here soon, but I didn't get that far yet today. All right. I offer trainings just like this pretty much every Thursday. I'm super excited that I am launching a podcast next month. And so we'll have a brand new podcast every other week. And then the other weeks, we're going to be doing trainings just like this on all sorts of different business and marketing topics. But I'm so excited to tell you more about my podcast coming out. It's called Bosses with Baggage, and it's designed for people who have gone through a dark night of the soul and have used that to create a business and a life that they love. And we're going to tell those stories both from my perspective, my story, as well as stories of other entrepreneurs who have seen the other side. Because the more we're willing to talk about our failures as our greatest asset, the more it's going to become normalized, and the more we're going to be able to learn from one another. So here's my contact information. If you guys want to get in touch with me, this is how you can get in touch with me. I'm so thrilled. Thank you for letting me speak much longer than I normally do, but I'm clearly incredibly passionate about this. I absolutely love what I do. I am filled with joy and gratitude every single day that I get to live this incredible life and work with incredible entrepreneurs all over the world. So if you need some help in your business, please give me a holler. I would love to meet and work with you. And have a fantastic day. Mwah.